Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to one of my YouTube members, Tinky. Thanks for your support. Now, being that it is now daylight standard time, I didn't remember that actually the updates are coming out 1 hour earlier, just because we kind of fell back for fall. And so, that being said, new update coming tomorrow, 23 hours from now, 3.3.100, another style, Sigrdrifa, aka AS Orleia. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Now, this one is a relatively small update, although for those who like an additional challenge, there will be an update for that as well. Of course, there are some new banners as well, so we'll touch on the Should You Summon series tomorrow evening. Now, that being said, let's get right into AS Orleia. Now, Orleia originally came out on episode 1 of the Apocrypha, and so she, even at the time, was extremely powerful. Although, if I look back on some of my Should You Summon comments on Orleia, I thought she was more of a luxury pull. Boy, I will say I was wrong in that sense. The fact that she has hold ground to the entire party front and back upon battle start is immensely useful, especially as the boss fights got harder. Not only that, the ability to set a zone with a preemptive move, given nowadays that we do require one-turn AFs a lot of times instead of getting one-shot by the boss, really made her very much superior to AS Miu's zone setting. And of course, most of us don't use ES Miu for zone setting, more for DPS in Thunder teams. Now, that being said, Orleia AS still retains her ability to set zone with a move. That, by the way, also gives a 50% type shield, which, by the way, is extremely useful. And that is only a 4-star move for normal style Orleia, so that's why the AS still has it. She also retains another 4-star move that is basically the, Chandra's Chaleur, which is basically the fire attack on a single enemy that actually is exploits the enemy's weakness. And so it's a fire attack. When the enemy is weak to it, it increases damage by times 10. So very, very viable in certain fire teams where, for example, you can use Ultra Xion or Perfection to switch the enemy to fire weakness, or if the fire enemy already has a pre-existing fire weakness, it is very useful on that side. Now, what sets her apart is now she is a prayer user, so very similar to other prayer users, in some sense, being that the prayer mechanic is if she gets hit by any damage, she gets kicked out of prayer. But other than that, it is advantageous to have prayer on instead of singing because they can still act unlike in singing state. So the main thing with her singing is that she can activate prayer, which is her 5-star AS move. She has 2 of those, of course. It is resistance, which basically gives herself a HP shield. And remember that if the HP shield is damaged, that does not count towards damage towards Orleia HP bar, which will allow her to stay within praying. And it will activate cover for her. So anyone who knows how to tank a hit, aka AS Hispina, just joking, but some of the AS Radiuses, AS Sora, there's quite a few cover units now, but you can say that the premier ones are obviously Buddy Pry as well as AS Radius. This move also heals everyone for HP 3000 and restores its statuses, and it can give status immunity to all party members for 1 hit. After you activate this move that gives the shield to the person, it also reduces damage by 50%, which will also help her survivability and the survivability of everyone else. So very similar, again, to the oratorios of the world, like Pizzica. And while she's in prayer, which you activated with the resistance, the prayer will continue to give, at the start of turn, the shield, reactivate cover, keep on healing, and keep on having, shield and status immunity. And in Awakened Thunder Zone, I believe the shield will now be 4,000 HP instead of 2,000 HP. So As long as you can keep the damage low, and again, resistance does reduce damage by 50%, you're going to have a consistent 50% down for the entire turn, and then also cover so she can act like a tank. Keep in mind, as a backup, you still have hold ground on the whole party. So pretty good in that sense. And the other thing that she has as an AS, now her regular style was already pretty good in allowing you to apply triple debuff. The only difference was that was a delayed move, so it works in AF, but outside AF, then it almost applies. It has to attack basically at the end of turn after the enemy is active. This one is just straight out power int speed on all enemies down by 50% for one turn, so you have to essentially reapply it every turn. And she's not really an attacker anyway, so I guess you can do that. It also inflicts rage, which obviously helps with her tanking ability. This will awaken zone, and in an awakened thunder zone, so I assume that means the second time you cast it, not the first time, you're going to get now 75, 75, 75 power, speed, and int. So I think this is our first unit that basically allows for the newest defensive power creep out there, power int and speed minus 75, which is ridiculous, by the way. I mean, 50 is already ridiculous, but you can see that 50, 50, 50 is not always enough to survive. Now you got 75, 75, 75, so don't worry about it. This one also has the Kaleido move to Thunder. So for those who've used AS Nikoko, then this defensive move will now change everyone to Thunder. So you can make everyone a Thunder unit and then combine AS Orleia with obviously units such as either Camouflage or Villette, guns. You know, you can tailor your Thunder team to have a lot of fun, and you don't now need AS Nikoko on the team because the debuffs are now covered by Orleia, as well as the Kaleido moves from AS Nikoko. Very, very powerful unit. Alright, so if you're interested in this and you finished the main story, and unfortunately, I have still not finished the main story. Man, life is busy. There is another dungeon that's basically linked to the main story. So for those who have finished the main story, you can now access that new dungeon, which can now farm, I'm hoping, light for Camouflage. Now that being said, I will get back to that when I get a chance. And you can now also do more Astral Archive content. So unlike myself, who hasn't really gotten a chance to do a lot of it, make sure that you can tackle the easy ones, because at the end of the day, you may not get the high score or the ultimate results on those, but the first two challenges are usually very, very easy, and you can still earn quite a bit of stones during those, as well as some light and shadow items. So if you have time, just slap it down with any team, get that done, and you'll earn some rewards which will help you with future banners. As for banners themselves, you're going to have the Orleia AS banner, Fatefuls and Regulars, and they're going to have some special Fateful encounters, basically to power up your Thunder team. You can clearly see that Orleia both forms, Miu ES, which we talked about just now, Silver Striker RCF, Victor AS, and Melina ES, which is one of her original Thunder units, are all there as a paid banner. And the way we walked, again, it's only paid. WFS, I mean, seriously, if you want us to catch up, and let's be honest, these don't really add a lot of power to the banner anyways, let free people pull on it. Remember, like the first round where they guaranteed a 5-star, that was very, very nice, but I guess we can't have them every round, so to speak. So you have 2 5-star units guaranteed instead of just 1. It's like a twin destinies, but you're concentrating your pulls on certain units here, which you can clearly see. And finally, for those who want to build most of the original one team to rule them all, you do have the Radius AS, Yifa AS, Alter Xion, and RCF. Finally, for those who want to replay some more character quests, you can do that here. Keep in mind that I haven't tried this feature, but if you've already played through significant areas of the main story, I think the replay will be different than your original playthrough. So keep that in mind, and that should be pretty interesting. Alright, hey, Sukiya fans rejoice. We do have the Sukiya matching set, and that actually is pretty timely given some of the most recent Japan updates and announcements. I will talk more about that. I'm actually preparing a video probably later on this evening, which I'll publish as soon as I can, regarding my thoughts on that new upgrade system that's been announced in Japan recently. And hey, this is actually good for everyone other than those who don't like to grind. You get extra keys every day, and I would highly recommend everyone use this. You only get it for about 11 days. It gives you an extra chance to grind out those opposites, treatises, and chants. And so go get that. And of course, you can do some boss rush too. And speaking about boss rush, you do get extra Chronos stones for beating Ukwaji, for beating some of the really old boss rush. And don't worry about watching my videos. Though at that time, those were probably the best units, and they were pretty difficult fights. But especially with the ones weak to the 4 elements, honestly, you can just bring the super teams, or even just bring a lunar team, aka Thunder. Well, Thunder team, why not? You have that featured in AS Orleia. Because don't forget that these old boss fights were not programmed to resist or null the lunar elements, which is Thunder, Shade, and Crystal. And so obviously if you run Ifi Yakumo or just run Orleya and Villette, you probably walk right through that and get some extra Chronos stones. Now, for those of us who already finished this, I don't know if we get extra stones. That would be nice. Yeah. And keep in mind that if you've never unlocked this, read the requirements here. You do have to achieve accepting Sebastian's challenge, and there I think was a cutscene before that, and you had to clear some other parts of the main story in order to access certain parts as well. So that's pretty much it. Let me know in the comments below, are you going to be doing more boss rush or the old boss rush? Are you going to be doing Astral Archive? Are you going to be pulling for AS Orleia? For myself, still freaking busy. I won't be doing any of the sort. Trying to get through some main story eventually. Didn't even play this weekend actually. And I will not be pulling for AS Orleia since I do have Orleia in normal style already. Anyways, for all those pulling tomorrow, as usual, good luck. And we'll discuss the various banners once they drop out tomorrow. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.